And I'm joined by Mr. Scott Holiday of Rival Sounds. How you keeping, Scott?
Very good. How you doing, Lee?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. I'm excited for the tour. You're coming over in a couple of weeks, obviously, to celebrate the obviously was 10th anniversary, now 11th anniversary of Pressure in Time. Great, you guys are excited to come back over. It's been a while.
Dying, man. It's been so weird, we've always called the UK our home away from home, and I think we've been for just around over 10 years now, maybe just about 10 years. We haven't missed a year. We've been over there every year, and you don't realize it until you stop.
Yeah,
how much it's part of your life and in your heart, and just even seeing different seasons all over the world, even aside from just the UK, just like not touring is so weird. It just, you forget when you just been doing it. You don't realize it. Then all of a sudden we stopped, and I went, oh my God. So we're dying to get back over. We can't wait.
obviously you're coming over in celebration, like I say, of Pressure in Time. I know you obviously had the Before the Fire album out before that, but I was curious from your point of view, when you were recording Pressure in Time, did it feel like you were taking a step up, and that this was more of a breakthrough record for you guys when you were recording it?
Well, it felt like our first record that we had a proper label, in y'all's own Earache Records, even though it was a really weird pairing, a weird match, we kind of liked that.
Yeah.
And the first two releases, Before the Fire and the EP, were just self-released. So this felt like, okay, we're with a company that's actually going to work the record. And we had done a lot of touring already up to that point, and kind of just really greased the wheels, and really felt like a well-oiled machine by that point. So we're kind of focused. Yeah.
That's good, man. I mean, I got to say, from a personal point of view, this album's a bit of a special one to me personally. Just not to put a downer on the interview, but in summer of 2010, I lost my dad to cancer, and music was like a huge part of our relationship. He took me to see Aerosmith when I was 11 years old, and that was the starter of everything. So for a long time after he passed away, I didn't listen to music in the same way at all.
Sure.
It was still a bit too raw, but when I heard Pressure in Time, the single, and then subsequently went out and bought the record, it was the album that sort of broke me out of that, and one that gave me my love music passion again. So from a personal level, I've got to thank you for it, brother.
Man, it's such an honor to hear that. And I feel like it's you make rock and roll because it feels good, and it feels like what we should do, and it's like, just, it becomes part of your life, like your dharma and your karma. It's all this stuff. But when you perform it live and you see it kind of like lifting people up, lifting spirits up in a live way, and then when people have stories like this, like your great story, it just feels like, man, it's so much bigger than anything you started out to be. And it's just really humbling and really great. So I'm sorry to hear about your dad, and I'm really honored that our record was something that kind of picked you up, man. Thank you.
No, thank you, man. Like I say, I heard the single, and then, like I say, subsequently bought the record, and I then found out that you were playing at both Sonosphere Festival in the UK and High Voltage Festival, which at that point I already had tickets to. I think Sonosphere was before High Voltage, and you guys were playing on the Jaeger stage, I seem to remember, which was between the two.
Yeah.
And I came down, I was watching the set, and it was amazing to see everybody. I thought that's one thing I loved about Sonosphere, where they put that Jaeger stage, it's sort of obviously breaking through acts at that point. You could just see the crowd growing over the course of your set. It was amazing. Like when I first got down there, it wasn't a small crowd. There was a couple hundred people watching, and then you turned around and you could see it going all the way back up to the main stage.
It was going all the way to the Ferris wheel.
It was. It was.
Yeah, it's amazing. We did a tour through the States with Pressure in Time, like the 10th anniversary of Pressure in Time, and it felt great. And a lot of people came out, and it was fun for us to play the songs again. But from the moment we even came up with the idea, let's do a 10th anniversary tour. Let's do it for people, because that's kind of the record where people really started to know who we were. Let's do it. It'll be fun. From the moment we decided it, we thought, man, it's not really proper until we do this in the UK. This is where we need to do it, because that's kind of was the epicenter for us. I don't know if it was because Earache was there, or maybe classic rock's affiliation and help and support, but we had so much support inside the UK that that time, like Sonosphere and High Voltage and all these things that we did around the record were so very memorable to us. And those were like first too, you know. So our first UK tour was with Judas Priest through the UK.
Okay.
And it was like, it was just such a proper introduction and so interesting for us. Like, oh wow, we're doing immediately better over here than we are at home. It's like weird to like, oh, they get it. Everybody gets it over here. So of course we kept coming back, you know?
I'm glad you did, mate.
Yeah.
So was there any songs in particular from Pressure in Time that you might not have played on the set for a little while that you were looking forward to dig out again, as it were?
I mean, most of them we didn't play. And after you have, you know, we're on our 8th record right now. So we like never played White Noise. For one thing, we wrote it in a key, and Jay sang it in the key. It was just straining. There's like no breath. There's no room for breath. It's all just like high singing with no breathing. So he wasn't thinking about that when it went down. So when we came to play it, it was impossible. Get Mine, we barely play that song. Only One, never play, never saw. These are all like fun songs to play. Hang on, I gotta say bye to my lady.
No worries.
Bye. Okay. Work day over here. So yeah, those 3 stick out right off the top. A lot of the other ones we did play, but those 3 mostly we never play them. And you know what? It's been fun. And I still say it. We've done a couple runs through the States. And even the last run we did, I said, it's going to be really good to take this to the UK. I think this record is in their hearts. And I think it's something, like you said, you have like deep memories when it came out. And I think more than people over here having those, I think they're over there, because when the record dropped, you guys were buying it. It was like really quick. Like it came out and everyone went and bought it. We charted better. We did better. We felt a bigger response. We toured there when it came out. So I'm just looking forward to it. I'll stop making that point now, I promise.
That's fine. I'm glad to see you're excited to go on the road, mate.
I'm pandering, man.
I mean, like I say, I'm glad you mentioned Get Mine, because that's one of my favorites off Pressure in Time, and I'm looking forward to seeing that one live again. I think you did it when I saw you once, but obviously you guys have always been, you know, a forward-thinking act. So when, you know, gone through the rest of the albums, Great Western Valkyrie and Felt Roots and Hollow Bones Part 1, you know, you've obviously focused on the album that you were presenting at the time.
That's what happens, right? Eventually you're just like, okay, there's only so much time in the set.
Exactly.
You probably should play Pressure in Time. I think a lot of people want to hear Face of Light.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you start narrowing it down. I don't know, maybe on this tour we're going to do some different stuff and mix it up with back catalog songs, but you're going to get all of the Pressure in Time songs. So there it is. Maybe even a couple of the B-sides.
Oh, cool. That's one thing I was going to say. Is it the whole album in its entirety that you guys are doing, or is it just the, you know, Pressure in Time heavy set, for want of a better term?
No, man, we're actually going to come out and give you the whole record top to bottom.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of fun. It's very bite-sized. You know, it's very much was made in the way like older records were made. It's 31 minutes, the whole record. Nowadays, it's so crazy, right?
Yeah.
People make records that are like an hour and a half, hour and 20. Even a record that's an hour, that's a long record to me. It is very difficult to make a statement, you know, and people just lost track of that because vinyl didn't become the primary, you know, media. But if you have an hour and 20 of music, it's across 4 or 5 vinyl. Nobody did that. You know what I mean? So this record is very much like in that old school way that it fits on a vinyl nicely. It's a 31-minute record where you can just like really digest it. You can really like feel what we were going for top to bottom. And I think everyone's going to get to feel that live, you know, at the show.
Well, one of the bands that I'm sort of really excited by at the minute is Dirty Honey, who's coming out with you. And their album, I saw a few reviews of them where they were saying, oh, well, it's only 8 tracks, but it's a great album. I mean, I'd rather have 8 tracks that were all solid, as the Dirty Honey album is, than, you know, 12 tracks and 4 of those are filler. You know what I mean?
I'm a fan of that. I mean, if you look at like Houses of the Holy, or you look at like, you know, Pink Floyd's Metal, or man, there's just so many records like that were again older records that just they made the record that was most appropriate, and that's what came out. You know, I'm a fan. Good on those guys for doing that too.
Had you heard the guys before they join the tour, as it were, or was it a case of like company people putting them in front of you? Or
No, I think it did come through our agents and stuff, but we're well aware of them and seeing everything they're doing over here. And we've kind of been crossing paths here and there. And like I said, they finished up that Black Crows tour over here, and that looked really great. Did they take that over there? It was the stateside, I think.
Yeah, I think it was just stateside. But I think these are the first shows in the UK they've done. I think, could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, and then I saw they did something with Wolfgang, and like they're doing a bunch of stuff. So I've been seeing it and thought it was a good opportunity to have them jump on, meet a real good rock audience, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm really excited to see that set. Their album that came out last year was just sort of an album of the year for me. Me and some friends of mine who sort of really were digging them, you know, when it was announced that they'd be supporting you guys, it was like, you know, brilliant. That's the icing on the cake. We're already excited to see you guys and to see how, you know, you do Pressure and Time, and then Dirty Honey support, and it just seemed like a perfect combination to us.
I think it's going to make for a fun evening. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I think they're playing at Download Festival too as well, which I'm at next week. So I'm looking forward to catching them then as well.
Man, Download. Who's headlining this year?
Kiss, Iron Maiden, and Biffy Clyro are headlining.
It could be 10 years ago.
It could be.
So weird with the pandemic, right? I see a lot of festival bills, and I'm like, this seems like it was 5 years ago. Is this an old thing or a new thing? It trips me out. That was a good one. That sounds just like 10 years ago.
How's it like when you guys play festivals in the UK though, compared to playing festivals back home? Is there a difference in it, or is it just festival slots of festivals?
I think it's similar in some ways, but it's definitely different in some ways too. I think the rock audience over there is a lot more fervid, and I think that there's a more eclectic scene in Europe and the UK that invites different music with rock and roll. I think over here you have like much more, I don't know, homogenized or whatever kind of bills. It's like all Americana acts, all like hipster acts, are all like rock acts. And the tough thing is with the rock ones is that becomes like kind of a cornier brand of rock and roll, personally, not to say any names or offend anybody in any way at all, but it becomes maybe a little more of a throwback kind of rock festival. So we haven't really seen a rock and roll festival that embraces a lot of the newer rock bands that are doing something that I think is really, really great, really cool. They're certainly out there. There's certainly a lot
of great bands out there.
There's a pretty good crop of good rock and roll bands starting to do something really good and, you know, be great live. So I don't know. And we're seeing these acts get put together with you guys, you know, out there at those festivals. So maybe we're going to see more of it out here as it goes on.
That's cool, man. Obviously, going back to the album, it's about Pressure and Time. Obviously, Storm Thorgerson did the cover for that. One of the last ones he did before he sadly passed away. So a couple of years after he did the album, I think. But how did he come to be involved with you guys in doing that record?
I was just telling this story. We ended up connecting with Storm because it was just, we got with Earache. It was a dream. You know, when you're doing your first record for your new label, you kind of are just trying to throw as many Hail Marys as you can. And for us, we had already put our whole EP out with the Classic Rock magazine.
Yeah, I remember.
It's like so brilliant that they wanted to do it. It's so cool that we had the help and on Earache's part, maybe it was Dan Tobin over there, or I don't know how it all came together, but it was really smart and really cool. And it was amazing to me because I was like this Classic Rock magazine super fan, going to the like bookstores around here to like find this magazine that's hard to find. So that they took on and did the EP for us was like, oh my God, but this helped a real groundswell following happen. So then we're putting out Pressure and Time, and it just kind of put a lot of intensity on that record. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that how Storm came into it? Was it through them or?
Yeah, excuse me. So since we had this kind of intensity on Pressure and Time, we thought we should really go for it. And this is the kind of thing you do. You throw a Hail Mary. Let's just throw a Hail Mary. Who should we get to do the album cover? I don't know. Storm Thorgerson would be like, you know, the biggest guy on planet Earth. He's the biggest guy I can think of in my mind. let's just pick him and make the label go get him. Kind of like a joke almost. And sure enough, they got back to us and said that he would agree to do it. I think Dan over at Earache sat down with him at a pub, and Storm agreed to do it. We really just couldn't believe it. We really couldn't believe that this, like, probably the single most legendary rock album guy ever did it. We make jokes about that album cover. I don't know how much you love the cover or anybody else loves it, but it's funny for us because when we started working with him, he gives you about 15 different ideas after hearing the record and talking with us, and they're hand sketched artwork. So we're going, ooh, these are all very interesting. I don't know if they're so indicative of the band or what the record's saying, but this one here looks really cool. And it's this picture of a man going down into his basement, and it's just a pencil, like a charcoal sketch going into his basement, real ominous looking. It's just like a corridor going down into a door. You can't see that it would be a painting on his head. It looks like it could be another photograph or, like, I don't know. So we look at that drawing and go, this is pretty dark and mysterious and cool. We really like this. Let's have him recreate this. So we picked that one. He comes back. We're all excited. Comes into the email. Me and Jay are on the phone. Let's look at it. We're gonna Storm Thorgerson album cover for Pressure and Time. We open it and we all go, we just weren't totally sure. Just, and I love the man so much, and I'm so honored. I would never change it. But when we first saw it, we went, this is kind of ugly. This is kind of weird. And we went, is that a girl in a bikini in the background? Because that certainly wasn't in the sketch. So it's a little different. And we make jokes all the time because it also did not look like an old bald man in the sketch. And we kind of were like, this looks like the front row at all of our shows right now. A bunch of bald old men. Anyway, it was a funny experience to, like, feel that way, but it's still just such an honor. It was so great to work with him. Being that he was over there, we never got to, like, sit down with him until after he finished it and was over here doing an art show. We all got to meet up.
Oh, so you did get to meet him properly then at some point?
Yeah, we got to meet him just before he passed, and that was really lucky. And I mean, what can you say? We have a Storm Thorgerson album cover. It's such an honor. I'll tell you the funny story, but in my heart, I still feel all the warmth and luck and happiness of getting to work with him and having it be in our catalog. And I think probably plenty of people see that cover and go, that's what it feels like to them that time. So when they see it, they go, I love that album cover. I think it's great. It feels like that record in that time to me. As the artist, we were a little less than enthused with how it turned out, but it doesn't really taint the process.
So as an art piece, what would be your favorite album cover of yours then? Curiosity.
I mean, we work with great artists.
You've got some great artwork throughout the albums. I
like Martin Whitfoot's work with us so much. You can see it. I don't know if you can see it in the back. I have a limited, I don't have the original, but I have this limited print that he gave me, which is the first one that he did. Wow. So that's cool for Hollow Bones. I think that's really, really, really great. It's his Painting Rain song. I have this. I don't know if you can see that good. You see this one?
Yeah. That's cool, man.
This actually is an original from him. He painted for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he actually painted that bad boy for me. I traded him a guitar for it, which
nice.
It's worth a lot more than a guitar. So I'm pretty sure he knows that I came up in that trade, but I didn't have a guitar I wanted to sell. So I said, I'm not wanting to part with the guitar, but if you paint me something, I'll trade you anything you want. So he did it. So I like Martin. I think the last album cover is beautiful. Feral Roots. That one was actually, we did that together. Like he had heard early mixes that we did and demos and stuff, and we got him working on it and made little changes to it with him. And it's incredible. That painting is actually like 10 feet long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like 10 by 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a massive painting. I also don't have that original. For one, he's charging a lot for it. I'm not buying that painting. But the most important thing, I probably could buy it, but
There you go.
The walls are taking a 10-foot painting. So those are my favorite. I like Hollow Bones. I like Feral Roots. I love what Jason Hawley did on Head Down.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if I was being backed into a corner with a sharp stick, the EP with just the logo,
Yeah.
like presenting that like emblem, which is something that Jay and I came up with. It's fun. It's fun, and it's like really almost secret society style. Just the wings and no name on it or anything.
Yeah. Cool. I know.
Yeah.
Simple. It's nice.
Yeah.
So obviously you're coming, like say, over for the Norwich shows. Has Norwich become a bit of a place for you to play? Obviously, I was at the show where Jay wasn't well, or wherever where it got cut short after a couple.
It was so weird.
And then you guys had to come back.
Norwich is marked by that. I mean, we came back and had a great show there.
Yeah, so I was at both of those, and you know.
Yeah, but it's really weird and really hard when anybody falls ill. And that was a particular tough one where we knew Jay wasn't doing well before the show all day. All day he was just not, he was just very out of sorts and was having a bit of a time. And we didn't really know why. There was like no drugs or anything involved. People said that, I know. People were like, oh, I don't know. People said all sorts of shit, but it wasn't like
people
that.
Always talk crap on that.
There was something deeper happening, and had really affected his like nervous system and just upset him really in a very emotional way. Yeah. And I was telling him before we went on, hey, you know, you don't have to do this. It's okay. You know, like we'll tell him and we'll come back. It was like the last day of a long run. And,
yeah, you
know, these tours can really tend to bring us out, man. And we love it. We love it every night. Don't be fooled. We love being up there. We love being together. We love playing for the audiences. It's like what we're so happy to do. But since we have families and we're away for so long, it can at moments really wring you out. And I think he just was stretched thin, you know. So Norwich, I do think of that. But I also think of how Norwich welcomed us back when we came back and was cool. And
right, I mean, you did that blues cross set in the middle, which was wicked. I remember that.
Yeah,
breaking down bit in the middle of the set. That was really cool.
Yeah, so I think we came back with something more special, and everybody is welcoming and wonderful. And I it's not marred. It's just, yeah, I do think of that a little bit over there.
Yeah,
it's never happened. It's the only time that's ever happened. You know what I mean? It's
going to happen at some point when you play that many shows at the end of the day.
I guess so, yeah.
It's going to happen. Yeah. But I remember, you know, me and my wife were stood in the crowd, and, you know, it was only a couple songs in or whatever. And I think I remember second or third song in, my wife turned to me and she went, Jay doesn't look well, does he? And I'm like, no, he really doesn't. And then obviously that's when there's a couple of I think he powered through like maybe another song, and then sort of said, look, you know, I'm really sorry. You know, we're going to have to call this a night sort of thing, which was.
Yeah, we never go on stage like that. You know, I don't even drink anymore. Nobody drinks on stage anymore. We always would drink a little bit back in the day, but even then, it's like there's like regiments before you come out. You're warming up. You're like, people are doing yoga. People are like stretching. People are like on their instrument. People are singing. Like, you're getting ready. You're getting ready to hit. So if you're seeing it on the second song like that, you're like, oh shit. Yeah, something is up, you know. Jay especially, he'll do. I mean, he's a psycho. He's a psycho. He'll go do yoga and be in a full mega sweat for like an hour. He'll do yoga in a hot room before he comes out. So by the time he's come out, he's like been doing yoga and sweating and like opening his lungs and like getting ready to do a show. So he's probably by far the most preparatory member of the band.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I've seen you guys live, Jay, for me, I think he's one of the finest frontmen going. I mean, he just takes it to a whole nother level. There's some great bands out there I absolutely adore, but Jay always seems to. Jay's one of those performers that me and the rest of yourselves, to be fair, you're a band for me that you would play. You get the impression anyway as an audience member that you would play the same way to 10 people in a bar as you would 20,000 people at Wembley. You know, you're there for an element. You're there for yourselves and doing what you guys love. You're not there to be a peacock as such.
And I can tell you a funny story to that point. early on in our career, we were touring, and it was young and in the States, and we weren't playing the big rooms, and we got booked into this room in Cleveland called the Agora Theater in Cleveland. It's pretty famous, and it's big, it's gigantic. It's like a Wiltern. It's like not like a roundhouse, but like, let's just say kind of like something like that. Like, it's massive.
Yeah.
And we're like this little band. We're playing to like 100 people, 50 people, 10 people. That's just how it's going across the States. No one knows who we are yet, and you got to play, you got to work. And we get booked in this big theater, and we're like, oh my God, the support band who's local drops off the day we get there. Oh, that was our only hope for anyone to come. We don't got anybody. So we're just like, what are we going to do? Why are we even playing this giant theater? Nobody's going to come. So sure enough, comes to showtime. We find out that the promoter booked us selfishly. He was a super fan. He wanted to see the band, so he booked us. So we go backstage, and we're about to come out. Nobody's there. Nobody came. 0 people are there. And we've got our show that is frankly slamming.
Yeah.
It's a slamming show. We're kicking ass and taking names, and there's nobody that's going to see it tonight except the staff, the lady making popcorn and serving drinks, guy taking the tickets, and the promoter. And we had to go backstage, and it's just so difficult. We're not making money. We're away from our families. There's nobody here. And we had to look at each other and really have a powwow. Yeah. Why are we doing this? And through this conversation and through this huddle, we came to that idea. We're out here to do it for us. We're out here because it's what we are. It's what's in our heart, and we have to put that light out into the world, and we have to like do what's right for us and do it right for each other on stage, and for the one person that's outside the building that's going to hear it. We just have to emanate this and put this out. Like, that's what we do. It's the animal that we are individually and collectively as Rival Sons. Let's go do that right now. And we had the best show of our lives that night. Nice. For 3 or 4 people. And the 3 or 4 people writhed and like fell on the floor. And it was just like they were feeling what we were feeling. Yeah. It wasn't just we thought we had the greatest show. We had such a great show. And they felt it too. And we finished the show and just felt like that was it. That was it. This is why we do it. It doesn't take but 3 people. No. And I think it's just going to feel the same if it is 30,000. This is the broken down essence of what we want to do and why we do it. And the people, when we left, the people cried. They couldn't believe that we did it. So it was just like, you guys can't leave. And that was so something. And we felt it. You gave us something. That's like, we have it now, and we left and we felt really picked up from it instead of, kicked in our asses for playing to nobody in this huge, beautiful theater. And, we've played to 30,000 people and 40,000 up to like almost 90,000 with AC/DC, 80 something thousand people. And every time we did the Sabbath tour.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
13 months. Every night we're playing arenas sold out, and there's a lot of people in those places when we went on even. And every night when we play the big rooms, the bigger the better, is when we huddle up and we say Cleveland.
Nice.
And we still do it. We still do it. We'll do it forever. And it's just that idea that like, we know why we do it. And it is the same, dude. Yeah. So that's my story about it. People say they play the same for 10 people, I bet. But I'm telling you, it is the same for us. And we do that.
Great, man. That's great. It's like similar to a couple of years ago, Rambling Man Fell. I was watching you guys play. And I don't know if you remember, it was absolutely chucking it down in rain. It was awful weather. It was crap. But in true festival style with a decent band on, no one gave a shit. Everybody was out in the rain, singing along, dancing, enjoying themselves. And it was one of the best moments as an audience member, just because everyone was in the same boat. No one was caring the fact that we were all getting soaked. It was just, Rival Sons on the stage. They're playing great. Who cares?
I remember that show. And it was so, like all the festivals, pretty much shitty and muddy and boards everywhere and like giant lakes of mud everywhere to get around. And we're in our nice boots and trying to get on stage. Everyone's getting dirty and you're like, son of a bitch. Let's just let's go do it now. And really, we were really enthused because we could feel the energy before we came on. These people, they want it. They don't give a shit that it's raining. Then we don't give a shit either. We're not going to be, we're not pussing out about this. We're going out there and having fun with those people. This is an opportunity. And it was fun. It was great. Even more than the UK, it's freakish. We play like Norway.
Yeah.
Like far north Norway, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's cold. It's like icy. And the stage will be backed up against you're looking at the North Pole right off the stage, you know? It's freezing. And they're all in the right gear. They're in the right jackets going, and it's dumping rain. And it's the same thing. They just don't care. They're just, you know, I'm thinking this is canceled show at home. Nobody's coming. Everyone's running inside. I love it. It's amazing.
So what would you say to anybody who's not got tickets yet for the Pressure and Time tour?
What are you waiting for? I'm assuring you that we're not going to do this again. So if you like that record and you like our band, we're pretty enthused to get back out and play out in Europe and the UK and come see you guys. We're furthermore enthused to present this Pressure and Time record in its entirety. This will be the last time we do it. This run is pretty much it. So see it while you can. And I'm not going to say money back guarantee, but Jay will write you a personal check if you don't like it. There you go.
I like that as a problem. Sort of touch upon the fact you guys have been working on a new record there. How's that all coming together, man? How's it coming along?
Fantastic. It's been a different process. We've had, instead of 30 days, we've had, you know, that's how we've done most of our records, inside of about a month. We've had roughly, I don't know, a year and a half that we've got to spend like writing, trying different songs, passing things back and forth, kind of just sitting on things and marinating and not touching it. I know that might sound weird to some people, but it's different. If you write a song and record it and leave it and come back to it a month later, you're like, oh, this song would be better with a different middle eight. I think we should like fix this thing up, you know? So it's a little bit different like that, where we spent a little more time, and maybe a song that you said in the beginning, a year in, it's like a song in the beginning, you would say, I don't like this one. I think we should kick it to the curb. A year later, you go back to what's recorded and you go, oh, this kick to the curb song, I think that's one of the best ones. So you get a different perspective on your record. So I really feel it's helping us make something interesting and different. And I can hear that you've probably been a fan of the band through all the different records, and you can hear that it changes. Like, we're not just trying to make Pressure and Time again, or make Head Down again, or make Great Western again. It's like, we really don't want to repeat ourselves. We really want to like keep turning the wheel. So it's like, it's going to always sound like us. And we want to have those ethos in there. And we want to have certain things that like we want to feel like we're doing the most genuine thing, and there will be a genuine thread through everything. But we're turning it on its head, and I think this record's the same way. You're going to hear some stuff where you go, that's Rival Sons for sure. That's my band. That's what they sound like. That's my shit. There's going to be some stuff like, whoa, okay, you know. And I'll say our fans have been so great coming along with us. There's never like, we haven't gone too far, I guess. We haven't alienated the audience. That's always what you want to be careful of. You don't want to go too far. We're not going to make a hip hop record, so safe.
But like on Feral Roots, though, I mean, Shooting Stars was probably a big sort of departure from everything else you would have done stylistically. But that's one of my favorite songs on that record. I love that song.
Great, man. Yeah, it's something different. It's something different. I think every record has that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's funny because you feel like when you're making a record and you go through you're making something totally different. When you go through all of them, I kind of hear them now and go, no, it feels like there's a total continuity to these records, you know? Maybe we weren't stretching as far as we thought. Maybe it is a little, like I hear Shooting Stars and I go, I don't know, that seems like something we would do. Yeah. That seems like, maybe I've just been living in those shoes for so long now. That record came out 2-3 years ago, I think now.
Yeah, it would have been about that right now, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's freakish. Who would have thought? I can't believe we like sat that long. It takes a pandemic to hold us back. That's what I'll say. Otherwise, we would have had one out, 2 years ago.
Is Dave Cobb involved in the new album again?
He did. He produced it.
Nice.
Yeah, we did it with him again, and like I said, it was interesting. We did a whole bunch of it at RCA. We did a ton of recording at home this time. So we would go and work, and then I would cut a bunch of stuff here. Even with Miley and the drums, we set up a way to do some drums at home, but mostly drums captured at RCA. And then we also ended up doing some work in Savannah, Georgia at Dave's new studio. So it's been fun. It's been interesting that way.
That's cool, man. All right, dude. Well, thanks for chatting to us, Scott. It's been absolutely great to talk to you, man. Obviously, I'll see you in Norwich. I'm coming up with my mate James Smith, who I know you can hear, and I know you know. So,
oh yeah, what's up, James? Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, me and James and my wife will be down. So I can't wait to see you in Norwich, man. It's going to be a great show. At the beginning of the interview, I'm going to play "Get Mine" as like I say, it's one of my favourites off of Pressure and Time. But at the end of the interview, what song off of Pressure and Time would you like us to play?
I think you should play, if you want to play something more far out, you should play White Noise. That never gets enough play.
I'm up for that, man. I'll play White Noise.
Cool.
Cool. All right,
cool, man.
Thanks for your time, man. I'll see you in Norwich.
We'll see you in Norwich, Lee. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, man. Take care.